What if I told you, that inside the towering glass walls of a billionaire's empire, a secret kitchen hid in the shadows, where a poor maiden cooked not just food, but hope, love, and destiny itself. Rose fire her hands, worn by struggle, stirred more than broth, they stirred fate. And when the cold-hearted CEO discovered her hidden kitchen, nothing, neither his fortune, nor his pride, would ever be the same again. This is not just a story, it's a journey of pain, kindness, betrayal, and redemption. And trust me, the ending will leave you in tears. Light bulb before we dive in, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Goodness Corner, because every story here will remind you that goodness still lives in unexpected places. The city of Bellomara glittered like a jewel under the night sky, its skyscrapers glowing with the pulse of wealth and ambition, but tucked between its steel arteries lived a young maiden whose story no one ever bothered to hear. Her name was Elena, and while others saw only a poor girl with worn shoes and a faded apron, hidden within her lay a fire that even she could not yet measure. By day, Elena worked as a cleaner in the towering headquarters of Lansford Enterprises, the empire of Adrian Lansford, a billionaire CEO with a reputation carved in ice. To his employees, Adrian was a storm in a tailored suit, brilliant, ruthless, and unshakable. But when night fell and the hallways emptied, Elena would slip into a forgotten corner of the building, a disused storeroom that she had transformed into her own secret kitchen. There, by the faint light of a single bulb, she cooked recipes her late mother had taught her, dishes that whispered of home, resilience, and love. She cooked not for customers, nor for profit, but because each stir of her wooden spoon gave her heart a reason to beat. What Elena did not know was that her quiet sanctuary was about to collide with Adrian's cold, hollow world. For though he had everything, cars, mansions, and power, Adrian carried an emptiness that no deal could fill. His parents had drowned their love in money, raising him on contracts instead of lullabies, and now he lived surrounded by sycophants who feared him but never loved him. Food to Adrian was nothing more than fuel, dinners nothing more than business transactions. He had never tasted the warmth of a meal prepared by hands that cared. Yet fate was preparing the table for him in the most unexpected place, Elena's hidden kitchen. It began one stormy evening when Adrian returned late to his office after another grueling meeting. The boardroom had echoed with arguments, and though he had won the battle, he felt drained, heavy, and strangely restless. He dismissed his driver, choosing instead to walk through the silent halls of his empire. His steps echoed, sharp against marble floors, until a faint aroma stopped him in his tracks. It was unlike anything he had smelled before, rich, warm, spiced with memory. Confused, he followed the trail, his cold eyes narrowing as he reached the neglected storeroom door. From within came the faint sound of a pan sizzling, a spoon tapping, and a voice humming softly, broken yet tender. Adrian pushed the door open without hesitation, expecting perhaps a trespasser. Instead, he found Elena, her hair tied back, sleeves rolled up, standing over a pot with a look of reverence, as though she were crafting a miracle. She gasped when she saw him, dropping her spoon, her face paling. For a long moment, time seemed to hold its breath. Here was the most feared man in the city, standing in the doorway of her secret haven. Her hidden kitchen was no longer hidden. "What is this?" Adrian's voice was sharp, his gaze scanning the improvised shelves, the little jars of spices, the neatly folded apron. Elena stammered, her voice trembling. I only wanted a place to cook, sir. I wasn't stealing. I swear. This was just, for me." He stepped closer, his eyes on the steaming pot. The aroma tugged at something deep inside him, something he could not name. "You're a cleaner here. And yet you use my building to play chef." His tone dripped with condescension, but behind his words was a curiosity he couldn't suppress. Elena swallowed hard, meeting his gaze. "Not to play, sir. To remember. My mother used to cook like this. She's gone now. And cooking here, it makes me feel like she's still with me." Her words hung in the air, fragile yet piercing. Adrian, who had long buried his own hunger for love, found himself unable to reply. Against his will, he asked, "What are you making?" Elena hesitated, then answered softly, "It's a simple stew. Poor people's food, maybe. But it warms the heart." Without asking, Adrian took the spoon from her hand and tasted it. Elena froze, certain that her life was about to unravel, that he would fire her, humiliate her, end everything. But instead, the billionaire who was known for signing billion-dollar deals with an icy pen closed his eyes as the taste bloomed on his tongue. It was unlike anything he had ever eaten. It was not refined, not expensive, not plated with pretension. Yet it carried a warmth that struck straight through the armor of his soul. For the first time in years, Adrian felt something stir inside him. And it frightened him. He opened his eyes, looking at her with a gaze that was less sharp now, almost searching. "You made this, with what? Leftovers? Scraps?" Elena nodded nervously. "Yes, sir. I use what others throw away. I can't afford more. But my mother always said love makes even the simplest food taste like heaven." Adrian set the spoon down, his mind a storm. Who was this girl, daring to find joy in scraps, daring to remind him that there was a world beyond steel and money? "You'll shut this down," he ordered suddenly, his voice hard again, though his heart screamed otherwise. Elena's eyes filled with tears, but she held her ground. "Please, sir. This is all I have left of her. Take away my job, but not this kitchen. Without it, I have nothing." Her defiance, so quiet yet so powerful, caught Adrian off guard. No one ever spoke to him this way. Everyone bowed, trembled, obeyed. But this maiden in a faded apron, she dared to plead, not for money, not for promotion, but for the right to hold on to a piece of her heart. Adrian left without another word that night, but he could not sleep. The taste of her stew haunted him, the look in her eyes replayed in his mind. By morning, instead of forgetting, he found himself returning, telling himself it was only to ensure she had obeyed his order. But when he opened the door, Elena was there again, stirring quietly, her eyes red from tears but her hands steady. This time, he didn't scold. Instead, he stood in silence, watching her work. Days turned into weeks, and what began as a secret discovered became an unspoken ritual. He would visit her kitchen, sometimes in silence, sometimes with questions, sometimes even with ingredients he pretended had been left over from the company cafeteria. Each time, her food chipped away at the fortress around his heart, and though he told himself he was only curious, the truth was far deeper. Adrian Lansford, the billionaire CEO, was slowly falling under the spell of a maiden's hidden kitchen. What neither of them knew was that their fragile connection was about to be tested in ways neither imagined. For the world outside, cruel and watching, was not kind to such secrets. And soon, Elena's kitchen would not just be a refuge, but the battleground where love, pride, and destiny would collide. Adrian's visits to the hidden kitchen became more frequent, though he never admitted why. Elena's cooking was no longer just food, it was healing. Each dish carried the warmth he had never known, and each evening in that dim storeroom felt like a crack of sunlight breaking through his dark world. But the secret could not stay hidden forever. One night, the company's deputy director stumbled upon them, and within days, rumors spread across the building. A billionaire CEO spending time with a maid in a secret kitchen. The tabloids painted Elena as a schemer, a gold digger clawing for power. Employees whispered, and shareholders questioned Adrian's judgment. For the first time in his life, Adrian faced a choice no contract could solve: protect his empire's image, or protect the woman who had touched his soul. Elena begged him to let her go, to save himself, but Adrian refused. In a board meeting filled with gasps, he stood and declared, "The world sees scraps where she sees possibility. She taught me that love, care, and dignity are worth more than fortune. If protecting her costs me everything, I will pay it." His words broke the walls he had built all his life. The board fell silent, and slowly, respect replaced suspicion. That night, Adrian returned to the hidden kitchen, where Elena waited with trembling hands and tear-filled eyes. He sat at the worn table, lifting a spoonful of her stew, and whispered, "You didn't just give me food. You gave me back my heart." Elena smiled through her tears, and for the first time, they ate not as CEO and maid, but as two souls who had found home in each other. Sparkles and dear viewers, if this story touched you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Goodness Corner, where every tale reminds us that love and kindness can still change the world.